I have been painting the furniture and using Annie Sloan's chalk paint for over 2 years now, and was so surprised and happy when Annie Sloan invited me to participate in her challenge among the other 9 furniture artists from France. We have been given 6 compulsory colors to paint a piece of furniture of our choice, 2 more extra colors, and a clear wax. I have picked this typical French cabinet and set on painting. This is the absolutely stunning new color in Annie Sloan's collection, Paprika Red. I have applied 2 coats of it using the stippling technique to create uneven texture. In this video, I will show you a few different painting techniques and the way to create a texture without any medium. Keep watching. I let the first coat completely dry. And now, to the top of the front of the cabinet, I am applying the Amsterdam Green chalk paint, diluted with water, and picking the excesses up with the wet rag. To make the handles to stand out, I am applying the paint around them and wiping off the excesses. Then, applying the paint to the bottom of the doors, dipping the brush into water and spreading the paint up. After spraying the surface with more water, spreading the paint with the rubber window cleaner, picking the excesses up with the wet rag. As you can see, I am using a lot of water, so the base coat have to be well dry. Applying the paint to the bottom of the cabinet, spraying it with water, picking the excesses up, and wiping the paint off the high points with the wet rag. My next choice is a Capri Pink. It is a very hot, lovely pink color. I am dipping the soft brush into the paint and sprinkle it over the surface. Then, picking up the excesses with a sponge and letting the surface completely dry. Now, I am applying 2 colors at the same time, Coolabah and Capri Green. With the white brush, spreading the paint up and down randomly, then spraying with water and spreading the paint with the window cleaner. I like using a rubber window cleaner as it blends the paint unevenly, giving the surface some more depth. And the sponge blending 2 colors together. After letting the paint completely dry, I am using the old white paint. To water down the paint, I am dipping the brush into the paint first and then into water. After spraying with more water, spreading it over the surface with a window cleaner. And helping to move it around with a sponge. Applying more of the old white with a sponge to the high points. When the surface is dry, with the wet rug and steel wool, I am exposing the metal parts of the cabinet, letting them shine through, and sanding the entire surface ever so slightly to expose the other colors. To tone down the other colors, I am applying a thin layer of the old ochre chalk paint. Spraying it with water and with a sponge, spreading a very thin layer of the paint over the whole surface. Letting it completely dry and sanding the piece with the steel wool and the fine sandpaper to expose the layers underneath. Now I am back to the Capri and the Capability Green chalk paint. With my fingers, picking some of the Capri and spreading it over the high points randomly. Then, doing the same with the Capability Green, mixing it with the Capri paint on some points. To bring all the colors together, I am applying the Amsterdam Green diluted with water, about 1:1. Starting from the bottom and lifting the paint up with the brush and spreading it over with a wet rug. With my finger, I am blending ever so slightly the Capri and the Capability Green while the paint is still wet. And now I am spreading the paint with the rug, which is already soaked with the paint. After letting the surface completely dry again, I am slightly sanding it and applying the clear wax and the black wax around the details, to the crevices and to the corners. I never studied art and never considered myself as an artist. With the help of the YouTube, I learned how to paint the furniture, how to make videos, how to edit and upload them to YouTube, and how to promote them on the social media. And all of it I have mastered to a certain point when I was already over 60. As the sides of the cabinet have no curves or details, I am applying to them a variation of the same technique as I used on the front. It is a larger surface, and you will see more clearly the techniques I am using. While you are watching, I go on with my story, how I came to the point that I was invited to participate in this challenge. Or you can turn off the sound. The idea of painting furniture came to me when we bought our French house, our retirement project. The French furniture is so beautiful, and these days one can update any piece to one's craziest ideas, matching it to your taste and to your environment. I started buying the furniture on Brocante, French car boot sales market, but I wanted to bring more air, color, and excitement to our new home. With this in mind, I have started watching tutorials on how to paint the furniture and experiment with the chalk paint. It is a story for another time why I have chosen chalk paint and particular Annie Sloan's paint. Each step of learning and practicing shaped my taste, my vision, my techniques. The best thing about chalk painting furniture is that it is very forgiving. You can repaint one piece many times. You can bring a piece of furniture to wherever your current mood brings you. You can leave it there for a while and then take it to a completely new direction. And all of it is with just a few tins of paint and a couple of brushes. Isn't it fun? Being consistent on doing what you do and keep showing up will normally get you to the point when you get noticed. With time, Annie Sloan started following me on Instagram and eventually invited me to participate in this challenge with other furniture artists from France. Now, I proudly call myself an artist. I am sharing my story here to encourage you to not be afraid to start doing something you would really like to try, but when it is completely different from what you are doing. To follow your heart, no matter how old the dream is and how old you are. And it can be anything you wanted to do, not necessarily painting the furniture. Anything you wanted to do, but didn't think you are good enough to do it, or that you don't have enough time or knowledge. Many skills can be learned if you put an effort, time, and desire. On the top of the cabinet, I am spreading the Amsterdam Green with a stippling technique, creating the texture. I want to create even more texture on my second coat. I left the paint opened in a container for overnight to get the consistency thicker. Applying a thick uneven coat, drying with the hairdryer, and layering the paint. Here you see how you can create a very thick uneven texture using only paint. After letting the base coat completely dry, my next step is a very thin coat of the old white, spraying it with water as I am applying it. Without drying the paint, I am applying the same way the old ochre chalk paint, letting it become slightly dry and sanding off most of the whites, leaving it just inside the texture in the low points of the green, sanding the edges, dusting off and applying a good coat of the clear wax. Then I am adding the black wax into the crevices and spreading a thin layer of the black wax over the entire top with a rag. I was so excited to participate in this challenge. Also, I love the colors Annie Sloan has chosen for us. You can see all the participants clicking on the link to my Instagram page below. There was a lot of fun, and this is a stepping stone for me. That is a short story of my long journey. As Rebecca West pointed out once, it is the soul's duty to be loyal to its own desires. It must abandon itself to its master passion. So let your soul lead you once in a while. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you again with my new fun project.